show you how to do a lovely half up style in Celeste's hair. I've already put a little bit of texture in Celeste's hair. So I've put a little bit of mousse and a little bit of salt spray, and then we'll start curling at the back. So I'm going to curl the hair using my wand today and just a little bit of the Silhouette Styling Care lotion. I just want to get some movement in the hair here at the bottom. So I'm not too worried about getting it really curly. You could use your small tongs here instead of the wand. Hold that on so the heat goes through. And we just want to get a little bit of movement into the hair. Just hold that for a second, let it cool down. And I'm going to curl in this direction. And we're going to work our way up the hair. But don't worry too much if these curls at the bottom aren't perfect, because sometimes I find at the back of the hair here, this is where we find out which technique works best. So if I feel that those curls, the hair here wasn't quite curly enough, then here I'm going to try the narrower part of the tongue, so we get a bit more of a curl. As this is kind of the bottom of the style. That's it, just a little bit of movement. We could always go back over this one, I think. And we can find out what works best for this person's hair. A little bit of spray. And let's move on to our next section. So you can create different looks depending on the sort of curl you create. And we don't want too much of a curl, because the curlier we make the hair, the shorter the hair will go. So our bride today, Celeste, wants to keep the length of her hair while still having some movement in there. And I could also use the salt spray as well. If you were worried that the hair might drop very quickly, then a little bit of salt spray can really help. Make sure you can feel the heat coming through, especially the twisted section of hair where the hair is a little bit thicker and it's wrapped around a little bit tighter around the tongue. You want to make sure that you get the heat coming through the twisted section of hair, especially if the hair is, as I say, if it's quite fine and you know it's not likely to hold a curl, make sure you leave the heat on there long enough. We've got the setting lotion on there and the Styling Care lotion that works as our heat protector. And now we want to make sure that we get it curled at last. So hold it in position just for a couple of seconds for the hair to cool. That's it, lovely. And I think it'll look quite nice with a little wave and a little curve at the bottom. Okay, so we've got our little bit of movement in the hair now. So now let's get our little half up style. So let's get our two sections of hair at the front. I want this braid to start quite low in the hair, so I'm going to cross those over and then I'm going to add to the lower section and twist, and add to the lower section and twist, and add to the lower section. Keep that bit down and twist, and add to the lower section once more and twist. We need to come back and loosen our little twists. And then using a bobby pin, just want to twist the hair at the back so that it's flat against the head, and slide the bobby pin at the back of the hair. You want to secure that little pleat just at the back, then it really doesn't want to move anywhere. And we can do the next one here, I think. So just where it feels like there's a little bit too much movement, I'm going to go in, move the hair, put a little bit of the texturizing dust, just a touch, it doesn't need a lot, and you can activate it by just rubbing it just a little bit, And using one of your little mini bobby pins, go in, find the texturizing dust. You can feel the difference with your finger so you know where it is, and slide the bobby pin just over the texturizing dust. So you get this lovely loose effect, but the hair is definitely not loose. If you need to, now you've got the texturizing dust in, you might be able to come back and just loosen it a touch more. Maybe she's got very fine hair. If you're working with an older bride maybe, and her hair's a lot finer and a lot thinner, she will want to keep as much hair down as possible to give her that bulk and that volume. So we can decide on which little bits are going to come back. And maybe she wants a little bit down here from the front, and I'm going to twist that. And if I put a tiny bit of back combing, just the slightest tiny bit, and twist. Find the right position for it. Use a little bit of your texturizing product, just where you're going to position the hair. Fingers, you don't want your finger to be on top of the hair because we want to hide the bobby pin. So make sure you get hold of the hair and twist so your finger is still holding the hair, but it's underneath the hair here. And slide the bobby pin at the back underneath your finger so it goes along the scalp. It has to go along the scalp because if it's just floating, just holding a little bit of hair, it won't stay in position. So make sure you've got it close to the scalp so that it's nice and secure. And we pick up another section of hair, and we're going to lift this up. Make sure you've got enough hair, but not too much. You might not want to expose her ears at this stage, so do be careful how much you pick up here at the side. And let's loop this bit around and bring it back. So you could back comb if you felt you needed to. But if the hair's very soft and slippy, don't worry about the back combing. Just add a little bit of texture just on the hair where you're holding it. Work out where the hair is going to go next, and I think about here. So I could put a little bit of texturizing powder just where the hair is going to be positioned, and then with our bobby pin, thank you, the bobby pin, the curl that's coming down here at the end of the hair, slide the bobby pin up underneath your finger close to the scalp, and that way we keep the hair down, all the hair down, but yet we've got a pretty little kind of half up style. Get a spray on the bit of hair that you want to secure and where you're going to secure it. So I'm kind of coming up and back a little bit with this section, so you create this kind of wave-like motion coming round the back of the hair. And maybe pop a little detail in the back with our up and over and back in. And here we have our little beachy half up style for short hair.